Hi, this is Rachelle with Journal Life's Journey. And this year, instead of dyeing eggs, I am going to be dyeing paper. So I picked up a couple of these egg coloring kits from Walmart. They were 98 cents. And I had already had some distilled white vinegar. I have a couple of cups here, some room temperature water. That's what it says. So it comes with 32 stickers, 16 egg stands. That's you punch out these little circles, I guess. 6 color tablets, 1 egg dipper, 1 drying tray. Oh, I guess this is a drying tray. Yeah, the egg stands are like paper. So let's open this up and see what's in here. I really only need the tablets. So these are the stands. These are the stickers. They're just little circular stickers, really small. This is what they call it, the egg dipper, which we don't really need. And then these are the tablets. Let's dig into these. The recipe that it says to use is 1 tablet in a cup, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, stir tablet to help dissolve. Add 1/2 cup room temperature water, bend egg dipper, then dip, blah, 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 blah. Suggested dye time is 5 minutes, but it says more time for a deeper color and place in tray. Okay, so we don't really need all that. I just need the 1 tablespoon and 1/2 cup of water, and then we are good to go from there. So I have 6 cups here. I don't know if I'm going to be able, and this is the paper that I'm going to be dyeing. It's some um, leftover printable planner inserts. Yeah. So I'm going to be using those. And maybe I should just do 3 colors at a time. The tablets don't really look like they are true to color. Let's turn this way so we can have some more space. So let's put 1 in each cup. Now I'm going to pour some vinegar into this little cup. Then I can just use my tablespoon, hopefully, to scoop it out since this is such a big bottle. Hopefully, I won't get vinegar everywhere. So that's 1. Oh, they're sizzling. Oh, that's almost perfect. I think I was a little short in that one. All right, so I set that aside. I don't know if you can hear that, but they are sizzling. Now, 1/2 a cup, I tested it. It comes about a little less than halfway the cup. I'm not going to put the water yet. Let me stir these up. I'm going to use this to stir. It looks like they're dissolving on their own. They pretty much dissolved on their own. Some of them, this pink one doesn't seem to be activated very well. But yeah, it looks like it's mostly dissolving on its own. Doesn't really need my help. Yeah, this one is the only one that seems like it's not really dissolving and fizzing like the rest. I think it's coming along now. See the bubbling? All right, so for the ones that are already dissolved, I'm going to go ahead and add the water. I'm going to add less water than it says because I want to get a deep color. Are those still bubbling? So these are the colors that I'm going to be working with. Let's set them aside. Try not to knock them over. So this is a tray that I use to dye my papers usually. So I'm going to start with these misprints or unused printable inserts. I do have a few pages that are just plain paper that I can use as well. So I don't really want to do a dip method, so I'm going to use a sponge and see if I can just paint it on like that. I don't think I like that. Maybe I should put it in a spray bottle. Yeah, I don't like the sponge. I did have brushes that I used to use. Let me see. I couldn't find the paintbrush. I think I threw it away. But I do have 6 of these bottles from the Dollar Tree, the spray bottles. So I'm going to try that instead of having them in a cup. And I think it'll be easier to spray it versus brushing it on. Let me go get a funnel too. Here we go. Yeah, it's small enough. It's almost too big. I may fill the rest of the way up with water. We shall see. I hate to leave that little bit of color in the bottom of the cup. Okay, so I'm going to save my cups because I'm going to come back and try the same type of thing with Kool-Aid. And even though I've done it before, I want to try it with the vinegar with the food coloring. So I'm going to keep my cups. Let's see what we can do now. I probably should put my spray box up here, but let's not. Let's start with the green since it's over, overly filled. That's much better. Okay. All right. I do need to get my spray box because I can feel it spraying out all over. So let me grab that and we can get started. So this is my spray box. It's a little big, but as soon as I find one that's a better size, I'll be switching. But let's go ahead and spray some of these papers and see what happens. All right, I'm gonna try this blue color next. All right, so I'm doing the darker colors first and then working my way through. Let's see how this one looks. pink, I think, is the lightest one, actually. Maybe it was something wrong with that tablet. But I'm just gonna let them dry on top of each other. If you want more consistent, even color, then I wouldn't suggest spraying on top of each other like I just did. Like that yellow is bright. It's really bright. Yeah, I wouldn't spray on top of each other, but I like the variation in color. So, I don't have a problem with that. These are scrap papers that would have gone in the recycle bin anyway. So, yeah, it'll give me some use out of them. These can be torn and used as collage papers. They can actually be pages in a journal. You can use them as backing papers, like for the inside of envelopes, things like that. Um, yeah. So I think the colors are going to be pretty nice. So those spray bottles came in really handy, and I must admit I prefer spraying my color on my papers. So even when I do coffee and tea stain, if I have a big paintbrush, I'll use it, but I do prefer using spray bottles. And when I'm coffee staining, I usually do a lot, so I have one of the big cleaning spray bottles. I use one of those. Okay, so these work great, and I can use them over and over again. I think if I can find more of those tablets, I'll just keep those in my stash at 98 cents to color paper, and I have all of this left. This is actually not bottled water. This is water out of the faucet. So faucet water and some vinegar. I think it's totally worth it. It works great. I think the vinegar is what kicks it up a notch. Um, but yeah, again, if you want more even tone, probably a brush or not stacking the different colors on top of each other. That green is nice too. So I'm gonna set these outside. It's not that hot today, but the sun is shining bright. So I'm gonna set this whole pile outside. Usually I set it in front of the fan, and as the top papers dry, I take them off. But today I'm gonna just set it outside and let the sun do its work, and then I will show you what they look like once they are dry. And before I take this out, I just had another idea. If you want to stack the papers like this and you don't want the previous color to bleed onto the next stack, you can also put wax paper or parchment paper or something in between it so that when you spray the next layer, it only gets on that layer, if you know what I mean. So next time, I'll probably try it that way so that I can have some pure color. But this is fine for what it is. Again, these papers would have ended up in the recycle bin if I wasn't coloring them or tea dyeing, coffee stain, and whatever the case may be. All right, so I'm going to set these out to dry and I will be back. All right, so I'm back to share the results of using the egg coloring kit to dye paper. So these are the results of my first batch that I recorded. This was the result of the pink paper. It didn't come out as well as I'd hoped. I don't know why only half of the pigment is on the paper. It doesn't rub off, which is good. At least I don't think it does so far. But if you notice here, I sprayed the whole page. I didn't spray everything evenly, but I did spray the whole page. So it should be some shade of pink everywhere. Maybe it is. It's just too light for me to see it. I don't know. So, and the pink was the one that didn't really fizzle, that I had to really work with in order to get it to dissolve the little tablet. So, of course, some of the other colors leaked onto or dripped onto or got sprayed on to another color page, but that's fine to me. I think it gives it that grungy feel. I kind of like that. I don't go for trying to make it perfect. Now, when I dried these papers, I set them outside. It was a windy day, but I set them outside on the pan and put a couple of medium-sized rocks on top of them. The first few pages, because I took the pages off, it was a sunny day. I took the pages off as the top layer was drying, and I don't know what happened after I removed the first set of dry pages. The rocks must have moved or got blown, and my papers blew all over the yard. So I had to kind of go in my yard, my neighbor's yard, to retrieve the paper. So they have some little grass bits on them, like little seedling pieces. I didn't even notice that that was on there. But yeah, so, but this is the next color. I think this is the one that's kind of like a red tone. I didn't even realize that it had the grass bits on it. This is the red tone. So some I sprayed heavier than others, and you can see how the colors bled in because as I sprayed them, I just laid them on top of each other. So, but again, I don't mind those variations in color. I think it's a nice effect. So this is the orange. So a lighter spray. I got to get all these little seedlings off. I'll do that later. This has a little bit of the yellow mixed in, but it's an orange color. And then this is the yellow. I think the yellow is the most pigmented of the warm colors, the warm tones. That yellow is, and usually yellow is the one that is the lightest, has the least pigment, but in this case, it really pops. The blue is really nice. It gives kind of a baby blue. Now, I added approximately the amount of water that the instructions on the box called for. So I'm guessing that if you added slightly more water, that you would get a little less pigment if you wanted even lighter colors. But I think following the instructions as far as how much water, how much vinegar makes a huge difference. So next, I want to try this, of course, with food coloring and the Kool-Aid. I've had this Kool-Aid probably for over a year and not done anything with it. So we're going to try one of those next. Let me know in the comments, which would you like to see first, the Kool-Aid or the food coloring? I think the vinegar is the key to this. Now, this one got a bunch of different colors mixed in. I think this was the initial one where I was trying to brush it on, but it's fine. I can still use it. This is the green. The green is really nice too. So the only one that I feel like in my initial batch, which that's what this is, in my initial batch that was a bit of a problem was the paint. Then up next, I decided to try and use as much of this spray as possible because I need bottles to test my other two items. And this one seems like I'm having a hard time using it up, but I wanted to have some empty bottles. But it's going to take me a minute to empty all those bottles. So I started spraying even more of papers that I had that were misprints or not used. These were from 2024 and I never used them. So, and I can't print on them because they're already cut. I mean, I could, but it'd be a lot of trouble. So this is the orange with a hint of the pink. Now the pink started coming through a little bit better after it sat for a while. And with these, I attempted to keep the colors isolated, so not combining them, which is why I have the wax paper here, but I'll get to that in a moment. But these are the orange, and this is 32-pound paper. And I only sprayed the plain side. I did not spray the printed side on these. This is the pink. Now this pink came out much better. Again, it still has overspray from other colors because that was before I decided to try and keep them a clean, flat color, I think. So I probably did the pink before I got around to the orange. I don't know. The order is a little off. This is the yellow with hints of the green. This gives me lemon lime vibes. Okay. This is the green. This this is photo paper. It doesn't do as well on the photo paper. This was a misprint that I started on photo paper, and I could tell when I sprayed it that it was gonna be a little different on this. There's no way I would use photo paper for something like this unless it was a misprint of something. So I just, wanna get some use out of it. These are regular 32-pound paper. I think I sprayed on both sides on that one, but on these, I only sprayed on one side. Now, these are some papers from some type of ledgers. It's not a ledger book, but it was like a grid paper book, some type of notebook. It's 5-star from a 5-star book. And it had a grid, it has a grid, but the spray has eaten some of that blue grid off of the paper. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, I was trying to use up all of this. Isn't very heavy, but it's not like a thin 20-pound heavy paper. I think it's probably 22, 24 pound. Okay. So that was part of my second batch, and then I went even further. Let's see, let's start from the back. This is some of the red, and I saturated the paper a little bit more, and I got a heavier color. So this is like the red and the orange mix. This, it leaked. It leaked. What I did was I had this wax paper in between. So I had the red on top of the yellow, like this, and this one was on top of it. And so the wax paper leaked. It leaked through, even though I had the paper trying to divide it to keep the colors pure. It leaked through. No big deal. I just know next time to use something a little more heavy than the wax paper. Maybe parchment paper might work better. We'll see. But this is what they all look like. The blue came out again. It's it's got variations in color. This is on the grid paper. And I think the 32 pound, my regular 32-pound printer paper absorbs the pigment a lot better. I get a lot richer color on the 32-pound paper now that I kind of know what I'm doing. All right, then I wanted to get creative and I started spraying half of the page with one color and half of the page with the other color. So this was green and blue, green and blue. And on this paper, I didn't have to spray both sides. The pigment bled through, so I'm fine with that. This was probably green and blue. And the red, that red just gets everywhere. I think I need to use it separately because it's really strong as far as the pigment. This one is yellow and green, and it's got a little blue and red, yellow and green. Then I tried the red and the yellow, or this might be pink and yellow, and the red bled through. Yeah, pink and yellow. So this gives me pink lemonade vibes. Pink lemonade. This one, I don't know. It's just mixed media look. Another kind of mixed media look. Now, after I sprayed these, of course, the pages were not very flat. So what I did after everything dried, and I did end up placing them in front of a fan, and as the top layers, I kind of spread them out a little bit, but as the top layer would dry, I would remove it so the air could get to the lower layers. That's how I dry. I don't think the first time I did coffee and tea stain, I used the oven, maybe the first few times. After that, I quit using the oven. I prefer just to set them in front of the fan and let them dry, or I can set them in my car in the summertime in Florida and let them dry like that. It's like baking them if I put them in the car. So, anywho, and then once I once everything was dry, I just stacked them up on each other and put them under something heavy so that they could flatten out a little bit. This is the blue and the red. All right, so that is everything that I dyed with the Easter egg dye. Let me know what you think about the results. Are you going to try it? Now's the time to grab those boxes from Walmart before they are gone at 98 cents. Even you can't beat that price even at the Dollar Tree, even though it's probably preferable to get it from the Dollar Tree for reasons. Um, but yeah, and I still have plenty left. This is what I have left. So I could probably do another batch of papers, and I probably will, just like this. And I can experiment with, again, trying to isolate the color and not letting the color seep to the other pages, just to get a pure color. But that is it. It does work. This is, I think, the easiest, less mess way of doing it. And you can saturate the paper as much as you want to try and get an even color if that's what you're looking for, or you can just kind of spray and do more of a textured look instead of a smooth look, I guess you would say, a mixed media look. I don't know. I'm very happy with the results. So yeah, instead of dyeing eggs this year, try your hand at dyeing some paper. If you have any questions, drop down in the comments and let me know. Again, let me know what you think about this. Are you going to try it? Drop down in the comments and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll holler at y'all next time. Bye.